Good evening and welcome to our Tuesday meditation. We are going to go back to a topic we covered a very long time ago, that happiness is an inside job. And that's a secret, if you will. Let me ask you first, where does happiness come from? Where does suffering come from? If we look at the real causes and conditions, we'll find today genuine happiness. Because inner peace is a real cause of genuine happiness. Buddha said that we have limitless potential for peace, happiness, and joy within ourselves. And we talked about this before. It's our Buddha nature, right? We have the potential to be permanently free from suffering. What gets in the way of our nature is try to fix everything. If you think about it, we wake up every day and try to fix problems. We call them putting out fires, right? But are they really fires? In trying to fix things, we often lose our inner peace. We get bogged down in these so called fires. And sometimes that fire consumes us. I'm sure all of us have experienced these patterns in our lives. So, even though inner peace is the source of our happiness, we keep wanting external conditions to make us happy. Let me give you an example. I think I mentioned this before. We all derive pleasure from some kind of food, gives us joy and satisfaction. For me, that's pizza. But can pizza make us happy? When I start eating pizza, it sure seems like it. First two slices, I'm in heaven. Now, if I keep eating, after maybe the 10th slice, I would start to throw up. And now, all of a sudden, I'm suffering. There's no joy in continuing to eat pizza anymore. So, what does that tell us? It tells us that happiness does not come from pizza. If pizza could bring happiness, it would not change to suffering with the 10th slice. In fact, it should keep going more up and up, right? Your happiness meter should be going up. And we can use other examples, right? Similarly, money, car, houses, whatever you want to use it. Even relationships cannot make us happy. We fall in love with someone. And when we fall in love, they can do no wrong. They have these small quirks, right? And we find those adorable. Oh, he's so cute. Some time goes by. And now the same quirks we found adorable are now disgusting. What happened? Our attachment went away. That's all. Love, on the other hand, can make us happy because genuine love has no expectations. It does not want anything in return. If you think about what makes us unhappy, there's a long list. Traffic makes us unhappy. Someone cuts us off, and now our whole day is ruined. Why do we give the power of our happiness to some stranger who does not even know we exist? We seek happiness in social media. We like having friends and followers. How many of these friends genuinely care about our well beings? Some businesses actually give you pictures. So it looks like you're on vacation in a foreign country, and people put that up on their social media feed. How crazy is that? Where is the happiness in that? We rearrange our lives just to make sure we remove things that make us unhappy and bring in things that we think would make us happy. And it does temporarily, right? But then the new things pop up that makes us unhappy. If we think our problems come from sorting out external events, we'll never be happy. I may have asked this question before, but I'm going to ask you again. How many of you have been truly happy for a straight 24-hour period? No sad thoughts, no anger, no jealousy, no uneasiness, no attachment, just pure happiness. Just be. Very few of us have been truly happy for straight 24 hours. And those of us who had those days, not very many days, right? Very few times. Because we are so bogged down on external condition, we are not even able to be truly happy for a straight 24-hour period. When we go on vacation in paradise, our whole goal is to be happy. We land and the rental car counter has an issue with our reservation. Suddenly, paradise does not feel like paradise. And this story plays out every day in every tourist destination. I actually had an interesting tourist guide in Egypt. Young man, maybe in his early 20s. He took us on an old fashioned boat tour on the Nile River, like a handmade boat. It was an interesting boat. And we're talking about his client base, how he made his living. And he says sometimes people come and they get upset about some view or something where he takes them. And he said he usually tells them that you paid so much money to come here. It's not cheap to go to Egypt. Just be happy because your money, you spent it, might as well be happy. And I thought this guy had it figured out, right? He's right. We have the choice to be happy or not, no matter the external conditions, because the true source of our happiness is inner peace. Regardless of what happens out there, let's try to keep our inner peace, right? So that's the thought of the day. Today, let's do the empty sky meditation. We've done this before. So, as always, we will settle down at our hearts and then we'll think of our mind, our root mind, as this bright, sunny, empty sky, and our thoughts as our clouds in that sky. And we won't pay attention to those thoughts because the clouds come and the clouds go, right? And just enjoy that pure nature of our mind, which is like a big, bright, open sky. So, if you're ready, let's begin. Please get into your meditation posture, back straight, spine upright, shoulders leveled. Gently close your eyes. Keep your mouth just a little bit open so any stress you may have developed will dissipate. Palms in your lap, right over left, thumbs gently touching each other. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, relax your body. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, let all your stress melt away. Take one more deep breath. As you exhale, let yourself completely loose like a rag doll. Bring your attention to the sensation of your breath at your nostrils. Feel the cool air as you breathe in. Feel slightly warmer air as you breathe out. Keep your attention the sensation of your breath for about a minute or so. Now, bring your attention at your heart. Imagine everything that happened before this moment melts into light and disappears. Things that haven't happened are not real anyway. So there is just this moment. Enjoy the peacefulness at your heart in this moment. Let this peaceful moment bring the next peaceful moment. Remember, there is nothing to do. There is nowhere to go. Just enjoy. Now, imagine your mind is this vast, blue, sunny Colorado sky. Not a cloud to be found. Clear sky. And your thoughts are like clouds in that sky. The clouds come and they dissipate. So if a thought arises, simply acknowledge it, don't chase it, and it will go away. Keep your focus on the clear sky like mind. If a thought arises, simply acknowledge it, don't chase it. Keep your focus on the clarity of your mind. Thought pops up, don't chase it, just acknowledge it. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Any questions? Go ahead and
So interesting topic of happiness. And can you hear now?
yeah, your words get muffled sometimes.
Is it clear now?
Yeah,
Okay. It's an interesting topic, Nirav. Happiness, and what personally I feel that it comes from within, as you say, but there are other psychological factors like comparison, which is one of the biggest culprit of making you from happiness to sad or unhappy. You try to compare yourself with your neighbors or with your house or with your car or whatever you call it. And it's a frame of reference with which your happiness turns into unhappiness or vice versa. It's not a absolute thing that this will make me happy.
but that's why I think we need to learn to not compare ourselves with other people. Uh, I think President Roosevelt said this, that comparison is a thief of joy, right? Uh, because moment you start compare, there is no end to it, right?
Yeah.
And I said this before, unless you are Elon Musk, there's only always one guy who has more money than you, right? So
Mhm.
there's no end to that. And if you notice that we tend to compare ourselves with people in the same social circle. Nobody says, I'm comparing with Jeff Bezos, right? Or Bill Gates. We tend to compare ourselves with people we know in our own social circle, which, if you think about it, is the stupidest thing to do because these are the people who we are friends, right? They're the last people in the world you want to compete with, right? But that's what we
That's
end up doing.
happening. That's happening, and it comes out of nothing. And that comparison comes out of nothing, and you swing from happiness to unhappiness.
That's right. That's right. So I make you promise next week, let's talk about comparison. Okay.
Okay.
We'll talk about comparison next week because I think you brought an interesting point, right? If you think about what makes us unhappy, right? One is comparison, like you said. Other is lack of contentment, right? And these kind of things go together, right? Where you're not content with what you have, so you're chasing
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
Comparison also leads to that chasing because keeping
So
up
when
with
you
the
compare,
Joneses.
you are after that I want to get some more. Like
Exactly, right?
it-
Exactly,
it's
exactly.
and whether happiness or unhappiness comes within.
It
Nobody can
huh. And
no
moment we
nobody can make
realize
you.
that,
Yeah.
I think life becomes simpler, uncle.
Yeah.
Once we realize that there is no happiness outside of ourselves, life becomes simpler. I had a very interesting conversation yesterday with a friend. He called me up. He says a friend of his, a son of his friend, actually called him. This kid, smart kid, right? Uh, Worked for you know big tech, made good money, and then he got laid off. And he was worried that his parents will be upset that he got laid off. And he's like, I just won't take a year off. I have enough money saved up in last 2 3 years where I really don't have to work, but I'm afraid that my parents won't let me. Right? He's a grown man, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? So, what have we done to our kids? When our kids don't feel comfortable telling us that, hey, we won't take a year off, right? Because we push them to a limit that, and this, what I call, and maybe there's another topic someday, but this is what I call is a scarcity mindset, right? We think there's only so much to go around. And it made sense, 100 years ago in a British Raj and whatnot, that people didn't have money. So, yes, if you don't study, you'll starve, right? But that's not the case, not in this country anymore, right? I mean,
It is true, Nira, that it's, as you said, that it's, to some extent, I will say that when the kid is afraid to tell something or I want to take a year off, that what I see personally, a mutual trust.
that's right. But
Uh,
we
Like
created that condition, right?
it's from childhood or from early days, we have created that condition that you do what I'm telling you,
Yeah,
and you are not telling me what you want to do,
yeah,
and that's it basically. And then it's a one track mind that daddy has told me, so I have to do it.
exactly.
And the moment he has the freedom, he's a free bird.
Yep, yep, absolutely. Sunand, you were saying something?
Okay.
Oh no, I was just going to add into what you kind of touched on in beginning about the happiness and like
Yeah,
how it, the way I like my take away from today's session is happiness should be independent, right? Like
yeah,
it should be independent of, especially I heard it somewhere that it should be independent of situation, a person, or the object. So if you are happy because you have a car, like an object,
then you're
then
not happy.
it will go away when the car goes away.
That's right.
Or same thing with if you are around certain person, then you're happy.
Yep,
That- That's like dependent and the situation. So
that's right.
yeah,
Absolutely. Because those are all external conditions, right?
yes,
I think Sadhguru says it very, very beautifully. He says, if you enjoy your own company, you will never be bored in your life, right?
yeah,
But most people, they get NZ just by themselves, right? They want people around. Like they can't sit for, 3 hours on their own,
yeah.
right? But if you enjoy your own company, you'll never be bored. So, right, guys, good discussion. Thank you. We'll
Thank you.
pick it up next week.
Okay.